Roll Tide, friends. First scrimmage in the books in Tuscaloosa. We got some good news. I'm going to ask this guy about what it means to scrimmage. Got a really tight quarterback race. And AK Deer got hurt. And we don't know the extent of that, but we'll get into some of the injuries as well. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Welcome to the next round. This is last call. Let's go, people. All right, there he is, Jake Coker, Mick Gillispie, coming at you. Coming at you, baby. So they had the first scrimmage, and they're telling us that there's no separation. You've been through a quarterback battle before. You know, would you have considered yourself closer to Austin Mack than Keelon Russell when you were at Florida State, and then also the quarterback battle at Alabama? And what do you, when they say that they're going to separate this out in scrimmage, like, what's that like?
I mean, you know, I think you can't. You just got to go into scrimmages and practice like you're being the best teammate you can. Just move the ball. That's it. You know, I mean, one play at a time. You know, again, when you start thinking about all the outside noise, that's when the performance starts to tank. You know, I mean, I know I started playing my best essentially when I played my best was, you know, SEC championship time, playoff time. Mm-hmm. You know, you had time with your teammates. The campus was empty. Everybody was off. You know, you're practicing every day. And I mean, all you're doing is hanging out with your teammates. And I never watched ESPN. I never watched any of that stuff. You know, again, that's a little different because I was the starter at that point, and all I had to do was focus on the games. That was it. You know, nothing else. So you know, to me, it's all about focus and mindset. If those guys are thinking about who's going to be the guy, it's really going to be a detriment to their performance during practice. You know, I mean, the best thing you can hear is, hey, you're the starter, and, you know, put your mind at ease. If you can avoid that thought process at all, or entirely, you got a leg up. Mm-hmm. I know at Florida State I handled that one the best, you know, just because, you know, I was able to block all that outside noise and have the most fun just playing with I guess no cloud over my head. It was just, you know, go out there, practice, play, and I think I let that get to me a little bit at Alabama because I felt like I was I guess if you're saying comparing who's who, I mean, I think I was Austin Mack at Florida State, and then more so Keelon Russell at Alabama, just because, I mean, I'm not saying, in no way am I comparing, you know, talent or any football.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, everybody knows what you're saying. Just like situational.
Yeah, just outside noise. And I would say even more so probably than Keelon, because, you know, when you think about Keelon and Austin Mack, I mean, Austin's been there so long. Keelon, we all know, is very talented, but he's so new, so young that it would make sense if Austin Mack is named the starter, just from an experience perspective. You know, I transferred in. There was a lot of hype. I mean, I remember that just because I lived it, and you know, I think when you come in that way and the expectations are high, I mean, you can say that you try to block that out as well as you possibly can, but it's tough, you know. And I mean, I've told you the stories about being around Tuscaloosa. You can't avoid the fans. I mean, if you got to eat or anything, you're going to hear about it. So, I mean, I think that, you know, there was added pressure there, and I think that probably affected me a little bit. But
right,
you know, once I was named the starter, it was all over. I would say that the quarterback competitions are almost, you know, worse than actually playing the games.
Right. So when you do these scrimmages, I mean, is it like is it like playing a regular game, or like how do they work it? I mean, you're not punting the ball or anything, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, a lot of times you just start at the 20, and work your way down the field. And quarterbacks are going in and out. They want to see who, obviously it'll be Austin Mack and Keelon Russell mainly between those two. It depends on how open the race is, but all the quarterbacks will get reps. There's no doubt about that. But it's not. You don't have the fluidity of a game where it's defense is on the field, offense is on the field. You're getting the reps. You get it's situationally you're playing. A lot has to do with who you're playing, but also score and field position and all that. And they try to make it as much as game like as possible, but it's also about getting reps at the end of the day. So it doesn't have that game like feel at all. At least it didn't feel that way to me. I can tell you a scrimmage didn't feel like playing Clemson in the national championship. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But, they try to get there as well as they possibly can.
Well, it's going to determine who the quarterback is, right? And then the bad news is that A.K. Deere was injured, according to Kalen DeBoer. He said it, and I don't know the severity. He didn't say. But but it kind of scares me a little bit because if it wasn't that big a deal, he probably just wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, that's right. It was a bad enough deal to where he doesn't know. It's always worse than they say nothing.
Yeah.
So
right.
You can talk about a sprained ankle or a jammed finger or whatever you want to say, but when the coach says he can't tell you, it's usually not a good deal.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. Get over there right now. The Timeout Sports Lounge. It's a Vegas style sports book right there at Pearl River. At the Golden Moon Casino. 20 big screen TVs, full size bar. You got the window to bet. You got the kiosks to bet. You can do it all like just a short car ride from Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. So Alabama and East Carolina, 23 days away. 22 days we'll be at Innisfree doing the tailgate show.
So hard to believe.
I know. It snuck up on us. Right there. All right. So Deere got hurt. EJ Crowell, I've said this on my other show today. He's not practicing again. Don't hold your breath and think this guy's playing as a true freshman right away.
Yeah, it's just
second time. He was hurt for the other camp.
Spring and camp. Has never played before, has not really gotten reps before. Again, I've heard a lot of high praise of him, but, not going to play if you can't practice. So, and run back's a hard position to play with injuries. You can't just play through it a lot of times. You're running, making contact, catching, doing all those things all the time. So, hopefully he gets back here pretty quickly. From my understanding, it's not very serious. But like I said, I don't see him, until later. My early projection was he'd probably get on the field a little bit later on in the season after he learns. But, once you start getting into those game day or game week practices, the twos don't. The ones get a lot of reps. That second back gets a lot of reps. Third back kind of rotates in and out with the twos. But, I say the 2 line, the 2 quarterback, all those guys, but they're, you still got two predominant backs that are going to get most of the reps. And now that A.K. Deere's down, it's probably going to be Daniel Hill and Kevin Riley. I wish that E.J. was available because he'd be getting a lot of reps right now. But, that running back room's taking shots.
Yeah. Well, the good news is I've heard that Daniel Hill's bigger, stronger than he was last year, that he's been a leader, that he's ready to take the ball.
Well, Daniel Hill, to me, you see a guy in the offseason make that kind of physical stride. Guys can say they're in their playbook all the time, but when guys make those physical transformations, to me, that's when it shows. They're all in. They're eating right, working out right, getting their sleep, doing everything they need to do. Guy looks a lot different than he did last year. And, you know, I mean, look, you kind of knew you're not playing a ton. I think it takes a toll on some of these guys that are used to playing a lot. And I think he got he got the shock paddles last year, man, when he made a few plays. And I think that gave him some confidence and going into the offseason with the realization that he's number one. You know, that's when you really start seeing some changes in certain guys and they become completely different players. I think that's what you're going to see in Daniel Hill. I think you're going to see a throwback running back in Daniel Hill. I mean, he seems to be in much better shape. Obviously, he's got the size, but I think he's got the ability from a speed and agility standpoint to where he's, you know, he's one of those old Alabama backs that we are used to seeing.
Well, he's going to be relied on. I mean, they've got to have him. So for him to be kind of like a consistent, doesn't get injured, reliable guy, that's good. The thing that I wonder is his explosiveness. How much of that is him and how much of that is the offensive line? You know, and Kalen DeBoer said that they were running the ball. I know they're dedicated to it. You talked about them sliding the tight end over. Maybe that was Shank that talked about them probably sliding the tight end over this year to be able to just really concentrate on the run. But the one thing about him in his game that I haven't seen yet is explosiveness. It's consistency. He's a bruiser, but Alabama didn't have that explosiveness at all last year running the football. I mean, just after Jam Miller got dinged up against Missouri, I think it was nothing there.
Jam Miller was a damn good back. I mean, he was a damn good back. I always liked him a lot. Thought he ran, you know, he had that to me. He kind of had some similar characteristics to Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs was one of my favorite guys, you know, after my time. Mm-hmm. I just love backs that hit a hole and get north, and it's, you know, it's tough to say that. I mean, tough to do that because you have to be able to anticipate and see things very quickly to just, you know, stick your foot in the ground and get north and hit the right path. He was one of those guys, but, you know, you do have to have guys in the right spot. You got to be able to push people around to where you've got defined lanes to run through. And I didn't think we had that last year. You know, I mean, I think there were a lot of times where Jim Miller had to make the most of it because there just wasn't a lot of movement.
Yeah.
You know, again, you hear Ryan Grubb talk about it, the coaching changes that have been made. I think there's a real emphasis on it this year. I think that's the entirety of the offseason. I think that was the Achilles heel for us last year. So I think that's what they focused on the entire year or the entire offseason.
This camp, and I'm going to tell you guys
again,
about.
I said it last show. I'll say it again. I want to be in a position where we don't have to throw to the left tackle.
Yeah, right.
We run behind him. We don't throw to him.
Well, I'll tell you this: a name that you should keep an ear out for is Trayshawn. Trayshawn. What is Trayshawn's last name? Brown. Yeah, Trayshawn Brown. Right. This guy's been killing it, like getting an opportunity quietly, like he's getting reps, and he had a pretty good scrimmage, and then Russell doing it with his legs, man. Just taking advantage of his super playmaking ability. You know, from the sources that you have from camp, you know, like that's what you keep hearing, right? Like and he's going to have to run the ball. I mean, like the quarterback, like, you know, there's going to be those RPOs. Hey guys, let me tell you about our friends at Patriot Roofing and Builders. Man, these guys are great. 205-919-4494. That's 205-919-4494. I know some of you guys are like, hey, I can see it on the screen. Well, not a lot of people listen. So, but they got you covered. Well, because we're on different platforms, in case you didn't know. And if you didn't know, make sure you get us on some of the other spots. But Patriot Roofing and Builders, they are a total home license building company, man. They can do it all: roofing, siding, gutters, windows, full home renovations, free inspections, give Will and Justin a call, and they'll answer, and they'll take good care of you. And I can tell you, with all the storms and stuff that are like in and out these days, your roof gets damaged, and if you don't get it in time, it could cause a lot of damage. I had a house in Tuscaloosa and it had like a shop, and the shop roof had gotten damaged in the tornado, in 2011. And, it was just getting that thing fixed was a priority. We did it, but you guys, give them a call if you're looking to do some of that stuff. And the free inspections make it easy to come out and tell you what, get a couple free inspections, and pick the best one. I think you guys will like. All right, so we got to run the ball. The other big question in camp right now, Javian James or Nick Brooks at the right guard spot. You been through these battles before. What's it like when you got two guys fighting for a spot on the offensive line?
You just hope that both of them can block.
Especially when you're standing in the pocket.
Yeah. I mean, I look, when guys are going through, I guess that's something that repeating starters think about, like who's going to be the starting right guard, right tackle. When I was there, I was just battling for my spot. I don't give a shit who's. I just want to be playing first. I mean, all that.
You had a great offensive line.
Yeah, we had Joe Moore offensive line winners. I mean, we had it made. But my biggest outside of the offensive line is that receiving core. I honestly, quarterback position, I have never worried about under this coaching staff. I really haven't.
Yeah, great point.
I mean, the run game, the offensive line has been been something we've obviously talked about, but the receiver position is receiving core is what, again, I'm looking for that third piece. Derek Meadows, Rico Scott, Darian Morgan. I'm looking forward to seeing who that guy's going to be.
Right.
First off, my thoughts on Latsier Brooks. I mean, I made that pretty obvious last show. Ryan Williams, great talent. Need to see him pull it together. But that next target. I mean, who's it going to be? And then this offense. I mean, sounds like tight end positions. It looks like we're pretty strong right there. But that third wideout's going to be. I hear a lot of names, a lot of high praise, but I'm hoping we've got a guy who can come in and replace Isaiah Horton and play at that level.
Right.
That's
a tough loss, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, Isaiah Horton was he would have been the guy this year. Depending upon how Ryan Williams comes out and plays with consistency, that's his biggest thing. And I hope Ryan Williams has gotten a little bit bigger and can handle the physicality when catching the ball on those digs and crossers and seam routes and everything else that's going to require him to catch and take some damage as he's catching the ball.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. All I've heard is that he's had a great camp. Making catches, making plays, kind of doing all his stuff. So.
Yeah, that's why I talked to Ryan Grubb about that a few months ago, and he was just talking about Ryan, seems to be putting everything together. Like fine, the guy was 17 2 years ago, 18 last year, and again, his had a lot going on off the field, and with NIL and all the attention that he was getting. I think. Like I said, that when I first got to Alabama, I hadn't had that type of attention ever. And so, I definitely think it affects you a little bit off the field and then performing on the field sometimes. But I think once you get acclimated to that and it becomes normal, or at least you learn how to deal with it, it makes you further capable or more capable of just playing, and really that noise doesn't affect you at all.
Yeah.
And I think from my conversations with coaches and people that have been around Ryan, I think that's kind of where he's getting, where it's, it's like, all right, football is the main focus. I mean, that's why I'm here. I've got my friends, I've got my, my circle of people, and now I know how to move forward and handle this in a way where it's nothing's really going to be able to affect me that happens on the football field. It's, I'm going to take care of my job, and whatever happens, happens,
Mm-hmm. Guys, we appreciate the folks at, you see it right there, Residence Inn by Marriott, Ocean City. Hit the QR code. Coastal Style Hotel of the Year again. I mean, they've got more championships than Nick Saban. Back to back to back to back. It's just an amazing place. Ocean City, Maryland. Man, I love Ocean City, Maryland, and grew up going there. You talk about getting out for a golf getaway. Look how beautiful that is right there on the water. Awesome food, great courses, bayside sunsets, all of that stuff. And it's not that far. I mean, but white sandy beaches, the boardwalk there, some of the best beaches. And we really appreciate Keith and all those guys for being a part of what we do. So check them out. Yeah, go and plan your next big golf trip there, and tell us about it. And I know some of you guys live up there, and you're not too far away, and go by and holler at them for us. All right, Jake, wrapping it up here. Any final thoughts?
Ready for that next scrimmage to see who the quarterback's going to be.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Russell.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Well, look, the reason why is that he's making plays, and if he starts this year, you get an extra year out of him, maybe. If he doesn't go to the NFL, I mean, and the defense is going to be, as long as he doesn't turn it over. But he's electric.
Which I hear he's doing a good job not turning the ball over.
I do too. And then like when they're like, hey, it's a good battle, but the stuff you leave talking about, he did. And it kind of reminds me of Tua, kind of reminds me of Ryan Coleman Williams' first year. People are starting to get a real good look at how talented this guy is. So I'm going to throw it out there. I think he's going to win the job. We'll follow this because that's what we do.
Yeah, right. Hey, everybody's all excited about that. That's I know it's the quarterback position, all that. It's the least of my worries, to be honest with you. This entire team. But
yeah, right.
I mean, I'm not nervous about the defense. It's always tough first few starts. What I mean? It's going to be tough, but that falls within expectation for me.
Right.
But I know that whoever the starting quarterback is going to be coached through this by the staff.
Right.
Like I said, as long as we run the ball, it'll be all right. Let's
run the ball, baby. Just run the ball. Run the damn ball.
Run the damn ball.
All right. You want to see the low five? Let's watch the high five again, just for old time's sake. Hey guys, we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. 2 awesome casinos, Golden Moon, Silver Star. They got concerts out there constantly. Weekends are fantastic. When you go to the different bars they have, table games and slots. Bring your friends. Go into the sports book, bet, watch games. Philip M. Steakhouse. We're going to be sending some of you guys over. We're sending Shank over to check it out. So thank you, and roll tide.
On today's show, 2 legends call their own plays at Pearl River Resort.
Wow, Jake's first throw scores. And Steve's got the crowd pumped.
They're absolutely rolling.
'Cause I don't have to be me. So Monday, Friday, Saturday,
These 2 still got game.
Come call your own plays
at Pearl River Resort. Let's roll.